Welcome. My name is Mary Jacobs, and I appreciate you being here on the Oneness Show, the One Love Oneness Show. Today's topic is about the art of letting go. As if every episode isn't deeply personal to me, because I feel like, we can really teach what we ourselves have experienced and gone through and gained wisdom by coming out on the other side of it. Otherwise, we're just kind of really speaking in theory. This one really hits home to me really sincerely because one, I've just gone through another huge release in my own personal life, and I've gone through a lot of deep releases also, and I'm sure everyone who listens to this podcast, especially this episode, relates and may also be going through it right now. Letting go, releasing that which is known to us, is a deep process which can challenge us in so many ways. That natural resistance that we experience, that discomfort inside, is strong within any being. And this inclination to kind of want to resist the discomfort, that can cause us actually more distress in the long run by hanging on to energies, people, places, and things that really are needing to be released for the next cycle of our lives and for the other person, or, just for our lives at this point. But if you're talking about another person, it's also releasing them for the next part of their journey as well, even if whether they experience it that way or not, or us, when we have felt like we were at the brunt of someone else's releasing, it still put us on a new trajectory. So there is that feedback, that kickback, that mutual experience of release. Releasing may be necessary for a variety of reasons on our journey through life. For instance, a karmic relationship could have run its course, and now the healing through the release is necessary for full closure, full forgiveness, and for the wisdom that has been gained through our experience to really be anchored through that release. Another example is when we feel called to begin a new job or start a new business or a lifestyle change. And yet, for this new venture to be successful, we're having to release comparing ourselves to others. We're having to release self-doubt and self-sabotaging behaviors that would try its best to keep us stuck. All of those are usually based on a fear of the unknown, but there can be a myriad of other reasons, but the core of it is usually the same, okay? Both examples require stepping into new energy, or quote unquote the unknown, as well as a healthy dose of honesty, accountability, transparency, all mainly and first and foremost with ourselves. We're not able to acknowledge, take action on, or address anything that we're first and foremost not willing to admit to ourselves. We lie to ourselves the most. And so once we can get past that sticking point and honestly address and assess ourselves and how we're feeling and where we may be coming up short, or where we know we want to manifest certain things in our lives, but we keep getting, the same results, it's kind of like, okay, where exactly do we need to pivot or course correct or really go internally and do some self-healing with ourselves to see, all right, what's keeping us stuck? Why do we keep reverting back to the same actions, to the same people, to the same energies? And usually it's because it's our comfort zone. And even when it's like completely toxic or uncomfortable, it's what we know. It's what we know, and we know how to move and maneuver and how to respond in that energy, versus really allowing ourselves to step into a different vibration, a different energy, to new relationships, to new places. It's going to require us to be uncomfortable because we don't really know what to expect. We don't know readily how to respond or how we need to respond in certain circumstances because it's all new to us, right? Oh my goodness. So, really, I just wanted to get on and talk about where we are right now in the world and how we really can use the art of letting go. And I call it an art because it requires so much energy and presence and authenticity of who we are to show up in the energy of letting go. In order for it to be a real letting go. It's been a while, for instance, since, for myself as an example, since the last podcast. And that's also because I am, I have another profession. I have two other professions. This is my main, this is my passion. This is my calling. This is what I do and who I am at my core. And anyone who truly, truly knows me personally knows that I have always been this way. I have many gifts that have shown up since I was a kid, as so many more of the people I've met through my own travels also have. And I'm sure a lot of my listeners, if not all of you, have the same experience of really having a hard go at it young in life, really being misunderstood and having gifts and things show up for you that nobody really, and hopefully a lot more people are being born or have when they were younger, being able to show up and say, hey, no, I had a grandma or an auntie or my parents were very open and could help me. And then there's some of us like myself who did not come from that background. So I didn't really know how to be with my gifts. And so I started shunning mine, which I've talked about in previous episodes, shunning my gifts to a certain extent. They never went dormant, but they definitely quieted down because I didn't want to scare the very people that I wanted to accept me away. And that's what was happening. So I started lying and denying who I truly am at my core just to be able to fit in with a crowd that was never meant for me. And so the more and more that we actually embrace going backwards and then even forwards, I have many hats that I wear right now. And I'm also in school while I'm, working full time. And I'm also really finding time to no excuses. This is my passion to really help and connect with so many people who also are on this journey that I might be a little further ahead of right now. It doesn't mean it's always going to be that way because I'm always open and willing to learn from others who've gone further on the journey than I have, or just know something on a different path that I haven't gone down that can teach me something about that path that I know not. So I'm a student as well as a teacher, as all of us are. And so mine has come from the art of letting go of who I thought I was. So there's still layers of myself that I had picked up through really being worldly and really stepping out of who my essence of who I really am to fit in. I see sometimes some of that creeping back up and I'm like, oh, I see you. And ooh, afterwards, if I don't catch it in the moment or I do it as autopilot, later I pay for it because I don't feel good. And then I feel like I need to say something and I need to correct. And it's like, okay, no, let's learn from that. Understanding that, how it makes us feel when we don't show up for ourselves. In this instance, myself. And really allowing myself to next time and starting in this now moment, really just being myself. And if the opportunity presents itself, I will have an opportunity to kind of course correct as needed. And so with me, it's been the art of releasing control. That's been my letting go. Controlling the outcome by, really making, I do my affirmations and things of that nature. I have my own tools that I use daily. I do my meditations every day. And so the majority of my time is very peaceful, very in alignment. And yet, God and my own soul allows certain things to kind of come into my world of experience to test. Am I going to let the external world throw me off? Or am I going to keep the expectation that because I do tut, now I'm angry because you showed up and you shouldn't be here? Whatever that energy is, not saying a person, but like an energy of frustration, an energy of being upset, an energy of pain or fear or doubt or worry. It's like, hold up, I feel like I'm beyond this. I've worked on this and that. Or like, why are you here? And that by itself would send me on another path. And I've been seeing that a lot more because I do a lot more in a small amount of time. So now my 24 hours of a day are filled from the moment I wake up to the time I go to bed. Whether it's doing my self-care and my meditations, which are my daily account, whether it's working at my full-time job, whether it's working on my homework because I'm in school, doing assignments, studying, writing papers, and then obviously connecting with my kids and my family, my husband and my mom, my dad, the core group. And I've been adding more on. So now I'm in a book club, and it's just like, I'm like, I want that. I'm trying to, but I was like, through me feeling my day with more and more things, that's still an art of me controlling something, which is keeping me uncomfortable. I hope this is making sense. It's kind of like, I say I don't have a lot of time, and then when I do find myself having some time, I feel that space with another obligation. And yet, so it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. And so I had to be with myself because I was like, okay, I'm ready to let go of me, one, trying to control my day. Two, of trying to control sorry about that in the background. Two, of me trying to controlling my day to make sure that it's lined up the way I want it to do. And then if anything comes in that is not in alignment with my structure, that I'm frustrated. And then two, the caveat, the flip side of that is through me filling my day and doing my spiritual practices and really being in alignment 80% of the time, being frustrated the other 20% of the time if something shows up that throws me off kilter. And I'm not frustrated at the thing that showed up. I'm more frustrated at myself for allowing it to be. And I'm like, oh, I'm still not there yet. Oh, I'm still not there yet. You know what I'm saying? So I've been witnessing myself through this, the same. And I don't know if anyone else can really relate to this. But that's how it's shown up for me over the last couple of months, especially. Because, like, for instance, I've been taking a lot of classes because I'm finishing up my degree. And I was like, okay, I'm about to get the summer off. And what did I do? I started being like, oh my gosh, but then I'm going to feel like I'm not being, I'm kind of going to be unproductive, and I'd have too much free time when I could be doing something else. And so at the last minute, as I was still right at the end of my spring courses in May, taking my finals and things, I went down and registered with my advisor 2 summer courses that I'm still currently in at this moment and looking forward to being over so I can have a few weeks before fall starts. I did it to myself, and I know it's going to benefit me in the long run, but it's that mental and emotional process of seeing how I am controlling myself, which can sometimes put me in the adverse of where I really wanted to be. Because would it have hurt me to not take these 2 classes over the summer? Of course not. If anything, it would have given me more spaciousness to do more of this, the thing that I actually love and is my passion. And then I'd be more refreshed and ready for the fall when I go back in August. So this is you seeing me and how I've been working through my own process just within these last 2 months. And I know that underneath it all, like I was saying before, being accountable and responsible and transparent with myself, and knowing that there's a fear because mine is transitioning from where I was into where I know I'm called to be, which is back into my entrepreneurial aspect of self by serving through my own spiritual journey and coaching other people, which is my strength and my calling. So my fear of really stepping full time in that has shown itself by keeping me completely nose to the grindstone on minutia, because I know that I'm being called to step into something that is completely new and foreign to me full time. Full time. And so I'm being called to really let go of my sense of control and self sabotage in that. Even though I am being very productive, I'm getting a lot of things done, the ego is very sly and is still underneath that, running from what I know I'm being called to do, if that makes sense. I hope me going all around the mulberry bush, coming back to the center, I could connect all those pieces so you could understand the whole nuance of what the premise that I started with. Let me know if you guys actually have had a similar experience, because on the outside it looks like I'm being very productive. I am being very productive. I'm getting things done while also I'm keeping myself completely busy all the time, and therefore not able to really put the energy and attention into my brand and into my calling, which I know is the next step on my journey. And it's all going towards my good, because me getting my degree is good. Me being able to chop wood, carry water, and have my full-time job is good, you know? And a lot of blessings and releases have come even through that. So I'm not negating it, which was probably why it was so easy for my ego to wrap around it and use it as an excuse to not go over here into the new thing. Because it's like, ooh, but look, and look, and look. It was all necessary and for my good. But knowing when it's time to also release, breathe, release, be authentic, be honest, be transparent. And then allow myself, whenever that spaciousness shows up through life itself, knowing that that's my journey, through God, through my own soul's patterning and purpose, taking the initiative and be like, I see what this is. Now I can really step fully more into this. So now that I'm aware of that, moving forward, that's what I'm working on. Releasing and letting go of controlling the outcome, controlling the narrative, and really releasing the self-sabotage and self-doubting behaviors that have kept me stuck, even though I am being highly productive externally. Okay. Now I also wanted to talk about, before I am released for today's episode, you guys, we're in a powerful time also of release and reviewing just in the world around us right now. And as I'm sitting here looking out of my window, it looks like another summer thunderstorm is coming through. And I love it. It's the cleansing. Tears are release. Tears are healing. And we're in a moment right now where not only is Saturn going retrograde, Mercury's going retrograde, Uranus just changed. So many planets have changed signs. And I'm not saying that we're giving power to the bodies in our material universe over us. What I am saying is that they lend us a boost, an energetic, like a jet stream, to kind of ride the wave versus going against the grain or going against the wave and making things harder for ourselves. So if the heavens are aligned to allow us a greater sense of release and reflection and review, and to really step more fully into who we are and who we're meant to be among all of the chatter around us, all of the noise, all of the chaos, all of the horrific things that are happening around the world, to our human family, to our planet, to our animal kingdom, to our, all ecosystems. Everything is aligning for us more and more. And I think I touched on this in the last episode about the dark night of the soul and how we are individually, macro and micro, individually, micro, big picture, macro, being called into our dark night of the soul. Everything is raising up to the surface for us to be able to see how ugly it really is. Okay? And there's much to be said about that, and that's going to be for another show, because really today is about that art of letting go, to be more consciously aware of ourselves, using the energy of self-reflection and journaling and meditating, being in nature if you can as much as possible, getting a lot of fresh, pure sunlight, especially if you're indoors all the time. Just really allowing ourselves, ooh, the thunder in the background. Yes, thank you. Just letting our mistakes are going to be louder right now. You know, our judgments are going to be flaring. People, you know, as you make mistakes and make room for yourself, be consciously aware of making space and allowing others to also, you know, gracefully make mistakes, because we're not perfect. I'm not perfect by a long shot. Nobody is. You know, we have this human experience, and the goal is to lift into our Christ consciousness, our God selves, and to remember truly who we are, and to not allow the physicality of it all to keep us in that state of amnesia. Yet this is where we find ourselves. So self-care is so important. Like I said, allow the energy of what's going on in the heavens to assist us energetically here in these bodies. Love ourselves. Love yourself unconditionally, okay? It's something that we're not taught from an early age. I know I wasn't, and a lot of people I know and have spoken with share that. We're not really taught how to unconditionally love ourselves. If anything, we're taught how we're doing certain things wrong, but rarely are we congratulated for just being our natural selves. We're kind of taught to conform. So have compassion on yourself as you really go forward to find out who you are. Release the habit of comparing yourself to anyone else and trying to use other people as a way to measure yourself up, you know, and feeling like you are not enough. Release the habit of that, okay? We're all being called, honestly, more thunder. We're all born of radical, beautiful, radiant love and acceptance. And yet life and the world around us and our elders and teachers and society itself will try to knock it out of us, to tell us how we're not enough or not measuring up unless we do it like this. And that's coming from a wounded place within them as well, because that's what they were taught and what they feel. You know, I've heard of many YouTubers saying that, like, you know, you think that the popularity and all the likes and things, you know, which, you know, when you're doing it for that specific reason, are going to somehow nourish you and fill a hole or void. But it does the opposite. You feel even more disconnected because now you feel like you have to perform to keep the likes and the followers. Where if it's organic and you're genuine about who you really are and authentic and sure and steadfast in that, and then the people or the likes come, even if the people and the likes go, you still have a solid sense of who you are. And you may know that, okay, I am transitioning. And so the people who are showing up on this aspect were not meant for me, or they've carried on with their journey. They were here for a moment and now they've moved on and another group will come. But at nowhere does it take away from the sense of who you are, your self-worth. And to know and to learn to decipher between the two. You see? This moment in time, this beautiful summer of things heating up, may it also be a reminder of how beautiful we are, okay? And how powerful we are, and how we don't need to force things to happen. We don't need to overdo it. We don't need to be afraid of our power, but we don't need to diminish it either, okay? We don't need to diminish it. We don't need to be afraid of it. But we also definitely don't want to force things and create an imbalance by trying to be controlling or use our power in ways that are not conducive to the life around us and to our own joy. Okay? Oh, that thunder. I'm going to thank you, dear God. Let's all contribute our light and our wisdom and our love in the ways that life shows up to allow us to do so. May we go with the flow. May we go with the flow. May we love just for the sake of loving. May we accept and appreciate ourselves, our bodies, our lives, just because we're here. Just because we actually have the ability to sit here and breathe air. To hear, The inner workings of God working in our lives is ever present. The inner workings of the universe lining up experiences in our lives that are going to continue our journey forward and give us opportunities to continuously live, learn, grow, are ever available. And it's going to continue to happen. And it is my belief, and I said belief because I understand everyone has their own belief. I am very non-dogmatic, and I'm not here to tell anyone what they should or shouldn't do. All I can do is offer my own perspective and share personal experiences on what has worked for me. Okay? You guys, I don't know why I was compelled today to really jump on about letting go and being in the flow. I think it's just the energy, all the storms that have been happening here in the Southeast and, all across the world and the United States. I mean, all the water. Early in the year, we were a lot of fire and the wildfires all in California. And, this planet is speaking to us. The cosmos are speaking to us. Our souls internally are speaking to us. This is a powerful time. The momentum is here. We all feel it. We all feel it. So just remember, any mistakes we're making right now that may be, bigger than life as it may seem sometimes, it's like, allow yourself grace through that. I know I'm making mistakes and I'm making great strides, and I celebrate the small things. So may you do the same for yourself. And then as you do that for yourself, try to make room to do that for other people in your life that show up. Okay? These are valuable lessons that we're having. And the next few weeks are going to be, well, let's not even predict. They're going to be. They're going to be. So I'm getting past my own stage fright. I'm being very honest and open with myself, which allows me in this platform to be honest and authentic with other people about some of the things internally that have tried to hold me back and how I am addressing those things and actively changing and releasing those things that would choose to keep me stuck. And that's why I keep showing up. Even though I know I have many things I may say and do, and then sometimes I don't follow through. Life happens. I allow life to happen for my own reasons. May they be for good or bad. It's a lesson. But one thing I can say is that I'll never stop. I'll never stop. I'm going to keep going until I get it right. I'm going to keep self-evaluating and loving and really admiring myself while holding myself accountable at the same time. And I'm going to continue to keep going back to what I know is true. It gets easier every single time. I've released smoking. I've released drinking alcohol. I've released, oh my goodness, I've released a lot. And as I'm releasing a lot of things and people and places have also released me. And seeing the beauty in that, to really allow my emotional body to feel what it needs to feel. And my sister has been huge in that. That's because, when it comes to my spiritual journey, she right now is the one who really strongly has that space where I kind of can talk it out right now. She's that touchstone. And I'm that for her as well. We're that for each other. There are other people in my life also that I am that for them, and they are that for me as well. However, it might be on a different level or related to different things. But right now, in this moment, it has been mainly my sister. And I can honestly tell you also from experience that if you have a person or someone that can really be present for you through these transitions, and vice versa, you holding presence for them to be authentic and to be honest with you about themselves, the world, and what they're feeling without being triggered, without judgment. That's the caveat. Find someone who can hold presence without judgment and it's not going to be a partner in pain. That can help and assist you to be accountable and responsible and give really, truly good feedback. Because that's how I am. I have people in my life that that has just through years, that has been like something that has been honed, and it doesn't take a thin skin. You got to have some tough skin, and you got to be really able to look at yourself objectively. Okay. You guys, I hope this helps. I'm showing up. I'm saying yes. I'm still pushing the gas, even though I may slow down. I might take a pit stop. I am here. I'm not going to leave. The Tao of Oneness, One Love is still going. And I am thankful, praying, I am still actually putting together my coaching program because I know, ooh, wow, that was beautiful. I am also putting together my coaching program, and I am definitely going to have that come forward in 2026. You will hear a lot more from me about that. It's going to be live. So my podcasts and things of that nature are definitely, gearing up towards it. But that's something that I was doing prior to, even though I might not have touched stone a lot with the podcast as much as I should and would like to have done in the past. When it comes to my coaching and showing up for my clients, and I call them, my friends on the journey, my family member, my soulmates and friends on the journey that come to me for assistance and guidance and walking that path with them, showing up, that is my forte, and that's something I show up for often. And I've done that internationally, and I've done that in my personal practice, and I do that with even every day with my coworkers and my family and friends. And now I'm offering who I truly am and the gift God put in me to the world and a larger audience via my coaching program, which will be coming out in 2026. So I'm getting all of those pieces and aspects together, as well as writing an ebook behind the scenes to really go forward. And that's where you see me stepping out in a new way, which is because I know once I push go on that, everything else is going to shift. And it's brand new, and that's me being full-time in the Tao of Oneness and allowing Tao of Oneness to have an energy and flow of its own, which is already gaining momentum. But also, this is an opportunity for me to truly share from the depths of who I am in a very intimate way with people who even are not part of the coaching program and who have never been a client of mine, may not know who I am, but are just drawn to this material, the energy, and, God speaking through me. One more thing I do want to touch on before I leave: the art of letting go. These last couple of months, I also have been really, really guided to reflect upon the voice. Now, I may have touched on this once or twice in previous podcasts, and I know clients of mine are aware, and the close family members to me are as well. In the beginning, it was different. It was more powerful. And I'm saying this in the art of letting go because this is the art of letting go of fear and doubt. And when you know the energy is perfect and aligned with who you are, then you know that it's going to call you out. It's going to perceive things in a way that other people, including yourself, may not. And this is when soul speaks. This is when you have a true enlightened energy of profound wisdom within you that is speaking through you in your inner ear, and sometimes may even come through your own vocal cords. It depends on the person. Everyone is different. Well, on the behalf of other people. But to really trust God through that process. How does it make you feel? How does it leave other people feeling? And I'm going to leave it there, because another thing that has really truly been coming forward for me is hearing the voice of God more clearly within me. Hearing the voice of God and ascended ones, the highest love in the universe, and anchoring that so deeply inside of yourself that anything that comes through, any energy, any essence, any, as we call, voice or wisdom or guidance that comes through you will be also imbued with that same love and unconditional love and beauty and harmony, never causing any harm, always benevolent. That is something else that has been activated within me and stronger within me, to where I know the signature, the energetic signature of that very presence within me. And that is the guiding force behind everything that I'm co-creating with God to put out into the world. And that's a form of me being transparent and really saying yes. Being transparent and really saying yes to God, by even being vulnerable enough in this moment to say it out loud through the One Love Tao of Oneness podcast, that this is who I am. This is what my experience of divine service is. And my fearlessness of getting past myself and my own ego and the fear of being judged by the outer world to say my truth. And I thank you guys for witnessing that. I thank you guys for being present and tapping in to hear today's episode. And if you waited all the way to the end and got this last snippet, I hope and pray that not only hopefully you support and respect my coming out of the divine using me in this way and being open and honest and transparent about saying it out loud for the world to hear. And I will be saying a lot more in many other platforms shortly, because now I am clear about who's speaking. And then also learning to trust yourself. And it's going to come through a lot of different, you're not always going to get it right. And the discouragement sometimes is there and it's hard to get past through. And that sometimes can anchor into more self-doubt. But if you keep moving forward and keep working that muscle, it will get stronger. I'm proof of that. There are other beings on this planet that are proof of that. So if that's your experience right now, or if you yourself already have gone through that experience and are on the other side as well, be more vocal about it. Because there are people in the world right now that need to hear it. That inner guidance that they are hearing, that little nudge inside, spirit speaking to them is real and they are not crazy. And so that's what my intention is also, is not only coming out and saying, hey, I am one. I hear spirit, I see energy fields. I am very intuitive. This is just who I am in my core, always have been. And I'm owning my gifts now. May this help someone else who is on the journey and path of remembering and owning that themselves, and kind of a little bit in self-doubt and worrying about whether it's pure or not and how to know if it's pure. And if this resonates with you in any way, then I have done my job. I have been obedient unto God, and I am grateful, grateful, grateful. You guys, until the next time, I appreciate you. Go forth and be the best version of yourself that you can be at any given moment in time, and always be open to feedback and growth from yourself first. Self-love and compassion for yourself, which then you can spread to other people. This world needs it. Oh my goodness, this planet and everybody upon her. We all need that. So until the next time, I appreciate you. And I will talk to you till next time on the Tao of Oneness show. Again, this is Mary Jacobs. Namaste.